Hello, YouTube. I'm back. This is Cali Surfer, and today we have a new ethical hacking tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at hacking Windows Active Directory, and to do that, we're going to be using a program called Kerbrute to enumerate our users on the Active Directory network. And the way that we'll do this is by first identifying users that have the Kerberos preauthentication disabled, and then we'll go ahead with Kerbrute and we'll be able to capture the hashes for those users and then crack the hashes offline and hopefully get our foothold and then escalate our privileges up to root. So let's go ahead without further ado and let's get into it.
Listen closely.
All right, so this is our challenge today, services. Let's go ahead with our setup here. We already have our VM running. So we'll export our IP. And we'll run a quick Nmap scan here. Using that IP variable, scan all ports with verbose mode, minimum rate specified, and then we'll grep for open ports. And today we'll use a few regular expressions to sort through these ports and strip them down to just the port numbers. We'll follow up with a more intense Nmap scan that checks for more details on each port and service. All right, so we'll make a new directory to store all of our files in from this CTF. And let's grab these results here. So we'll just create a temp file that we can use regular expressions to sort. So we see signs there of a Windows machine, which is not a surprise because we know we're going to be using Kerberos to steal the hash and then crack it and get in. So we'll just cut and paste these port numbers here. And this time we're going to run some script scans. We'll save our output also with a nmap.txt file. And here we're specifying just the ports that have open services running. All right, here we go. Let's let that run in the background here. So while we're waiting on that script, let's browse to port 80, see what's on that HTML site. right, so we've got kind of a generic company site here. Let's see what we can find out just by walking this website. Here we go. So we have some names. We have a contact us page. See if we have any email. There we go, j.doe. So it looks like a possible format here is first letter dot last name. So let's follow that convention and we'll make a list of possible usernames. Then we can use a technique called ASREP roasting, where we check for users that have the Kerberos pre-authentication disabled. That will allow us to capture password hashes that we can crack locally and then proceed with our login onto the target. So back to those employees again. And the first one I think was j.doe. That's probably Joanne Doe. So we've got a j.rock, w.masters, and w.LaRusso. Checking that convention. Yep, j.doe at services.local. So that looks like our domain. We might want to add that to our Etsy host file. Okay, here are our employees. So we've got a j.rock. And we'll go with usernames without the domain. So w.masters and j.larusso. Okay. So we just cut those ones to use. And let's make a usernames file here. We can use when we do our ASREP roasting. Users.txt. Drop those in, save it, quit. And we've got them. All right, so I already have Kerbrute installed here on my Kali VM. If you don't, you can grab that from GitHub. But let's go ahead and run it. We'll use the user enum mode, set our DC IP as our target IP, domain services.local, and then we'll have a username word list. There we go. Run that. And let's see, we got 2 arguments, but they can only take 1. See what we can tweak here. Right, so there we go. I just changed up our IP, and instead of the variable, I use the actual IP numbers, and we got it. So it looks like all 4 are valid usernames. So the next step is asrep roasting, or acerep roasting, however you want to say it. Let's see which of these users has Kerberos preauthentication disabled. So we'll use the GetNPUsers.py file. That's from the Impacket suite of tools. A lot of good tools in there. So we'll run it here. Again, specifying our IP and our domain. And we'll use that same users file. Just update that IP here. All right, 117.221. Drop it in. And let's let that run. And we put it in Hashcat format so that it'll be ready for us to crack. Have to specify our full working path there for our users.txt. Okay, and now we got it. Hey, look at that. We grabbed a hash already. That was super fast. So we got in to JRock's hash file here. Let's see if we can crack that offline with Hashcat. So I'll just cut and paste that hash right into here. Hash intercepted. JRock, thank you. Let's get to our cracking. Okay, so this is our command prompt on a Windows based machine. Hashcat will run a little faster since we have direct access to our discrete graphics card. So we'll crack that hash here with hashcat.exe. And the number for the Kerberos hash. Let's double check we're in the right place though. All right, that's good. So we do have it in the correct spot. Just double checking our hash here to make sure it hasn't changed. Looks good. All right, we're ready to run this thing. Back to Windows. Let's get our syntax correct here. Hashcat.exec. And that's our code there for Kerberos hash. And we'll use rocku. And there it is. So we've got our password now. So the next step is to log in as JRock, and then we'll escalate our privileges. Just making a note here of our found credentials. So by this point, I've pretty much forgotten about that nmap scan we started, but it's probably going to be worth checking back to see if this evil-winrm doesn't let us in. We might need to explore some other avenues, like maybe RDP or winexec or WMIexec, or maybe even SSH if that's on this box. Not sure. But we did see that RM service running, so chances are this will work. Awesome. So we actually are in as j.rock. Let's see what kind of privileges we have. No impersonate privilege. So we're in a server operators group. That's kind of interesting. Let's check our services. The name of this box is services, so probably the escalation will have something to do with services or service paths. And we see there the first one is an unquoted service path, so ripe for exploitation. All we have to do is drop a file in with the same name as the beginning before the space of part of that pathway. So let's check it out again. So our next step is going to be to hijack the bin pathway. And then we'll attempt to add our user to the admin group so that we get full admin privileges. Let's check that service again one more time that had the unquoted bin path. So here's the command for adding our user to the admin group. And so here we're using the unquoted service path to trigger another command that'll be run as the admin to add our j.rock username to the administrators group. We're using scexec to achieve this, and ADWS is the name of the service that we're running, and then we just need to run this command here, and it says success. And let's see, are we in that administrators group already? Let's try logging out and logging back in, because that service will reboot now, and maybe, if all goes well, we'll be added to the admin group. All right, so are we in there? Scroll up a little more. Groups. I don't see the admin group there, but let's test it. Maybe if we start up that service. It's already running. Let's see if we can restart it. Stop the service and then start it again. So now what we're doing is we just changed the password for the net user administrator. And now we're going to check and see if it works when we log in with our new password. And we're in. So we are admin now. And let's see if we can grab our flag. There it is, root.text. And we got it. So let's just cut and paste that into our notes. And that brings us to the end of this box. So we use Binpath Hijacking here to add our user to the administrator's group, and then we use that newfound ability or privilege to change our administrator's password. Logging in with him enabled us to grab our root flag and finish off the box. So without further ado, thank you for watching. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, make sure you do. I'll be putting out weekly CTF walkthrough videos, taking on a whole variety of different kinds of hacking challenges. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.